Episode 3, 4, and 5 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has come out. And what do I think about it just before I get into this review? This is the most boring series I have ever watched. It's so boring! And that's what makes this so hard. The problem is I've been seeing a lot of people say that this series is really excellent, and I've been seeing people say it's really bad. I disagree with both camps on this. The problem with this series is nothing is really happening. Now, mind you, it is 5 episodes into a 14-episode series, but even then, by the 5th episode, you should feel like something is going on, and there is nothing going on. We follow Peter's journey as he's now revealed by Norman Osborn to be Spider-Man, and Norman wants to help, and Peter wants to say, like, no, I don't want you to help because, you know, it's gonna affect things, and I want to be by myself and all this stuff. But in the end, my question is, this Spider-Man has no reason to be like that compared to previous Spider-Man. Where previous Spider-Man, there have been people that have entered his life that did get hurt, and because of the actions and connections of them being around Spider-Man, did get them hurt. This Spider-Man, there's nothing like that. Once again, in this universe, Uncle Ben is established to be very much dead before Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man. So what is the actions that lead him to be a good person, which leads me to this next part. YouTuber by the name of JesterBell, thanks to somebody in my comment section, best put it like this.
Him being Spider-Man, we never see Uncle Ben get killed, and he becomes Spider-Man after Uncle Ben is killed. Like, that's the entire point of Uncle Ben dying, is that in the comics, Peter Parker is this big jerk, he's selfish, he's temperamental, his hot-headedness means it's hard for him to make friends, and he stays in that selfishness and refuses to be responsible with his powers, and that indirectly leads to him, to his uncle being killed. Like, that's the entire point of Peter Parker. But in this, he just becomes Spider-Man, and you could say that maybe they'll explore it later because they haven't in the show, but apparently there's already a tie-in comic to this that says that Peter Parker just became Spider-Man because he's just a good person, he just always has been. And like, none of this is Peter Parker, and none of it is getting the point of who his character is.
I'll link her video in the comment section down below, which I can't disagree with. This Peter has zero problems, and that's what makes this story so boring. Episode 3, 4, and 5, it just seems like everything is just working for him. Now, mind you, once again, this is just the first 5 episodes, but the first 5 episodes, I feel like they're not going to put this Peter in any harm's way. It does really truly feel like a Disney version of Spider-Man. And the thing is, what really kills me about this series, I could see the potential, but once again, we're focusing on the wrong characters. We're focusing on Lonnie. We're focusing on every other character besides Peter himself. Yet in episode 3, we see that Aunt May is having trouble paying the bills, so Peter takes up this internship with Osborn, and he gets paid for it. So I have to assume that he used the money to pay for Aunt May's rent, but we don't know that because we never go back to Aunt May in episode 3, 4, and 5. Then we go deal with Lonnie in Lonnie Lincoln, and we see all this stuff that's going on with Lonnie Lincoln, and then his descent to the dark side, which makes no sense. He just changes. It's just like he's just like, no, I'm not a bad guy. No, I'm not a bad guy. And then episode 5, he's like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? A good nickname for me is Tombstone. Wait, what? What?
I mean, what the hell is going on?
I'm here to see Mr. Lincoln.
Then you should make an appointment. But perhaps we'll make an exception for the hero of the day. I am L. Thompson Lincoln.
Please, you're the big man.
In my life, I've been called many names. My favorite is Tombstone.
Back off! I just took down the Rhino. A pale guy in a suit doesn't stand.
See, Dr. Otto Octavius, which I'm not gonna lie, the voice actor, no offense to him, but the voice actor for Otto Octavius, do not like. I don't know what the voice coming out of Otto Octavius' body to the drawing of him just does not match. It's like you're looking at this character model and you're just like, this is not the voice I'm expecting to come out of this character. A lot of the times I actually recorded myself watching all 3 episodes, and a lot of the times I was zoning out. I was so bored, and it just was like, okay, like they were trying to make a bunch of these jokes, and it was just not landing. This is the first time I've ever had to say this. This is the first Spider-Man where the quips are actually not landing with me. I've never been like that before, where it's like, I'll watch a Spider-Man show and it's like, oh, okay, the quips are funny, yeah, or something like that. This time, I'm just like, they're really forcing these. And it's just like I said, I was watching this and I was bored. This is very boring. I am super bored. Oh my gosh, this is so boring. It would be something if they gave me something to hook onto, and I'm not hooked onto. Now, people can't go, "Whoa, you gotta wait." We're 5 episodes in, guys. 5 episodes in. First 2 premiered last week, 3 premiered this week, and another 3 premieres the next week, and another 3 premieres the next week. We're 5 episodes in, and I don't care. Peter is so much a goody two shoes. I completely thank you to one of the members in the comment section. He mentioned this, that he's basically a Gary Stu, and she's not wrong. And I'm putting all this stuff together so when I make my video, this is super boring. I've never been this bored. Holy crap. And it's like we're focusing on Lonnie Lincoln. What we at the same time we just saw this episode where Aunt May and stuff. So did Peter use the money? I guess Peter used the money. So that's my assumption, because he's like, yeah, I guess so. I guess I'll use the money. All right. So we start with, like I said, going back to episode 3, after my little rant here, episode 3 is like basically Norman and Peter finally uniting forces, and they explain the Sokovia Accords, which I don't understand why we're basing this Spider-Man around that, but we're not having him involved with Civil War. Whatever, it's a different universe. I guess I have to accept that. So we're dealing with that, and then like the next episode we're basically dealing with a bunch of random hijinks where basically he's got to find the perfect suit. So Norman's creating all these different suits and homaging to before designs, which was like, oh, okay, I guess, cool. And then finally at the end of that episode, Harry finds out that he is Spider-Man. So Harry is basically net leads to Spider-Man in this universe. Then the 5th episode is just basically him getting the Future Foundation suit, but it's not the Future Foundation suit, but it is the Future Foundation suit. And going around, and he stops the Unicorn and the Rhinos group and the gender-bent characters there. And guys, this is frustratingly boring. Lonnie seems like he's the character that they want to focus the most attention to when this is Peter's story. I don't understand. And a lot of this stuff is happening off screen. Like, there's a part in episode 3 where apparently they did really well at the science fair. They did awesome at the science fair. And all this stuff. But we don't get to see that. We don't get to see that moment where it's like, oh man, they really killed it at the science fair. And then Lonnie's like, I'm going to buy everybody's lunch. And then apparently he was out of money, but when was he always financially strapped? Like, there's nothing being explained. It's just a bunch of and then, instead of telling me, like, or showing me, why is Lonnie strapped for cash? What did they do exactly to impress the science fair? How did this go to get to this point in the episode? It's just and then.
No and then.
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 There's no reason for explanations for certain character motivations in this series. It's just getting so frustratingly boring. And the thing is, we got 2 or 3 more weeks of this, and hopefully they'll do something by next week, because once again, I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's only 5 episodes in, but this is not looking good. Peter faces no adversity. Now, I don't want to sell it like, oh, I want Peter just to get his butt kicked all the time. No, I want Peter to face some kind of adversity where it shows that his balance as Spider-Man is a little hard. But going back to what JesterBell said, everything just works out for him. You would have thought he would have been late to going to the movie theater. Nope, he got there on time and he met up with Nico. You thought he was going to a certain case with Harry Osborn and things were going to go out of hand with Harry Osborn. Nope, he's just chill with Spider-Man. He's chill with everything. Everything's perfect. Their partnership is perfect together. Like, nothing goes wrong for this character and it becomes boring. There's no anything that makes me just go, oh man, that really sucks for Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Everything works out for him. So once again, maybe in the later part of the season, we're going to see that and we're going to see the change, because eventually I believe what's going to probably happen is that Spider-Man will eventually don the red and blue suit. We've seen it in the trailers and seen it in the commercials. So maybe he goes his own way from Osborn because Osborn pushes him in a way where he doesn't feel right about something, because Osborn has this really big thing about trying to make Spider-Man the better hero out of the Avengers, because they're all splitting up right now. But it's just like, I don't know. This is exactly what I would expect from a Disney Channel show. If I'm going to be 100% honest, this is exactly what I expect from a Disney Channel show, where it's not really, you're not going to really put these characters through any kind of adversity. You're going to just have like random moments, and then, oh, we're going to pretend like we're going to put this character in some kind of like scary position, but really they're not really put in any kind of scary position. It's just, I don't know. I'm trying here. I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt especially with some of the gender swaps and some of the swaps of origins of characters, but it's really frustrating. Like I mentioned earlier as well, Lonnie just randomly just changed to the dark side. He gets in the gang fight with the Scorpions led by Matt Gargan's gang, and they fight, and then he saves the leader of the 101, Big Donovan, and he gets stabbed in his arm. And then afterwards, instead of being like, man, I got stabbed, this is gonna ruin my football chances, blah blah blah, he's just like, yeah, I'm Tombstone. Yeah, I'll be Tombstone. I was like, wow, that was quick. Really, he's just gonna be accepting of that. And the reason why he's changed like this is because he substituted for his brother's place, which makes no sense to me. I don't get that. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm substituting for my brother. Like, there's no indication that he's enjoying being part of this gang. It's just all of a sudden in that one moment he gets in this fight and gets stabbed, and then he's like, yeah, I'm Tombstone. It's like, where did this come from? Where did this character's development come from? Once again, it's that and then storytelling. This series is frustrating. I complained about the animation last time, and I still stand by that complaint. The animation, while he's wearing the Future Foundation suit, because that's what it is, I'm just going to call it what it is, the Future Foundation suit, is a little better, but it's still janky. It's still very hit or miss. They use a lot of the same character models for civilians. Like, seriously, every civilian that he interacts with, you will later see in the later episode. It's like, so I'm like, oh, so you're telling me Queens is just built up of like 5 or 6 different civilians in it? The police force, same thing. There's like 5 or 6 very noticeable police officers that you see, and you just keep seeing them over and over again. This does not feel like Spider-Man. Yet again, it feels like a derivative of the character. And maybe in the later episodes, it's gonna get better. But at this point, right now, it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't feel like it's going to get better. It feels like it is trying to take things from the MCU, but trying to do its own little origin story and not understand that you're killing the character itself. Once again, my understanding from the JesterBell video is that when Marvel has been able to use the rights for this character, that they can't take every character personality trait. I don't know if that's 100% true. It probably is, because I've definitely known of certain things where, they can use certain things like the Hulk. They can use certain things from the Hulk, but they can't use other things from the Hulk. So that could possibly be it. Or look at what's going on with Superman and the lawsuit, where they're not allowing it to air in certain areas because of certain things that it's between the Schusters and DC. So who knows? I'm right now just feeling a little frustrated, a little upset, because it just feels like I'm wasting my time watching this series, hoping that it gets better. Let's just cross our fingers and hope that episodes 6, 7, and 8, it does get better. But if it doesn't get better by episode 8, I don't think I'm going to continue this, because it is seriously a waste of time to see a character that I don't care about, which is Lonnie Lincoln. I'm sorry, as much as you want me to care about a sympathetic villain, I don't care about Lonnie Lincoln. I want to understand what makes this Peter Parker unique. I said this before. I don't care about sympathetic villains. It's getting played out to death at this point. It's getting so tiresome to watch the sympathetic villain. Oh my gosh, he had to do this for his family. I don't care. I don't care. Sometimes just let a villain be a bad guy. Let a bad guy be a bad guy, and that's all there is to it. That's all there should be to it. And unfortunately, we're not going to get that. I feel what's going to happen at the end of this series, and I bet you any money this is going to happen, because they're starting to set this up. The Sinister Six is going to be at the end of this series. I bet you any money that's exactly how they're going to end this series, because they already set up Matt Gargan, and they've been trailers showing him wearing the Scorpion equipment, and they've already shown Doc Ock. And so I bet you in the later episodes we're going to see other members of the Sinister Six, because we already met Rhino in episode 5. We've met Rhino. And so they're going to set up the Sinister Six. That's what this is leading to. I 100% believe the end of the series is leading up to the Sinister Six, which, okay, there are other things in the Spider-Man mythos besides the Sinister Six, the symbiote suit saga. There are other things you could use, and I don't know. I'm really frustrated. I do apologize if I come off a little steamed, but this really is something where I'm like, it feels like this Peter is he's just skating on by. Everything's going right for him. Everything's going good for him. What makes Peter relatable is that sometimes there are things that happen to him that is out of his control as Peter Parker or Spider-Man. Once again, maybe that's going to be explained in the later episodes of this series. And if that happens, cool. I'm all for it. But right now, it's just like, I can't see myself putting much more time into this to watch a series where this character seems like he just has everything going for him. And I know that sounds weird. I get that sounds weird, but you have to understand how Peter Parker was originally in the comic books, even in his movies, even in the animated shows, especially Spectacular Spider-Man. I think Spectacular Spider-Man is a perfect example of how you balance Peter Parker and Spider-Man, is that he is a kid that thinks that since he's got these powers and all that stuff, that he can do whatever he wants. Great power must come great responsibility. He still fumbles that message. This guy, he just is randomly good just because he's randomly good. I know we can accept that with Captain America. I get that. But Peter Parker is different, because Peter Parker is a character that is used to teach lessons. I don't know what the lesson is they're trying to teach here. Like, they're basically, Lonnie's story is Peter's story in a lot of the ways, running out of money and not able to do certain things. But I'm going to cut it here because this is running a little long. But honestly, this is not looking too excellent for me. I really hope that they're going to maybe change some stuff up. If you like it, please let me know why you like it, because I am, like I said, I was zoning out watching this. And if you don't like it, let me know why you don't like it. If you feel like me, where you're just like, you're bored with it, please let me know. I really would like to know people's opinions on this, because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here, because I'm seeing everybody saying, oh my gosh, this show is really good. And it feels like how it was when Homecoming came out, where I was like, I don't understand where you guys are all saying that this is really good when it's really not. This is really not that great. And it's really showing and telling with the show, the animation, the oh my gosh, the voice acting in this is awful. I was trying to be nice, but some of the characters, it sounds like it was their first time in the booth, and then they were like, yep, that's good, cut it, let's wrap it up. But that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope everyone's having a good day. Please keep your heads above water. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. Oh yeah, and this is the last thing I meant to add in my video. For New York, especially Queens, to be, you know, a busy, bustling city, yeah, there sure is nobody on the streets when it's swinging. Except when they notice and they try to put as many people in there, a lot of the times, there's nobody on the streets. It's kind of frustrating. Next week.